Okay, so you guys overwhelmingly wanted me to yap over the run that I didn't record the sound on, so there we go. So the day after I got the NARANTUYA run that I uploaded, I actually got another run that was very successful. It's pretty similar at the beginning. As you can see, I start with NARANTUYA. I also get Armia Medic, and I also get Beagle. It's a very strong start. The heal of Armia Medic can be very interesting, and as you can see, I'm gonna get Migrate as the first for the Atol in this run, which is unbelievably powerful, and I'm even gonna make something like extremely powerful that you'll see. So the strategy I'm gonna use for this first stage is gonna be basically the same as the video I uploaded yesterday. So I'm gonna yap a bit about the fourth ending because a lot of you people asked me to do this. So in order to go to the fourth ending in IS4, first of all you need the Horizon Invitation that you can get from the shop for only one original ingot. It's a pretty common item. It's almost guaranteed that you get it from the shop. Sometimes it can be absent, but it usually doesn't happen. Once you get the Horizon Invitation, you need to take an encounter in out of a Lost and Found node. The first encounter you're gonna get from an outside the Lost and Found node is gonna be the special encounter that once you finish it will get you a relic, and this relic guarantees you that you'll get to the fourth ending. You'll also get one relic, one special relic. No, sorry, you'll also get a regular relic, as if it was an emergency operation. So it can sometimes be used even if you don't want to go to the fourth ending, because, well, it basically transforms an encounter into an emergency operation, which is not that bad. This emergency, this special fight with NARANTUYA is weirdly enough pretty easy. So as you can see here, I can kill the dog because you need at least 2 blockers to do that, or an extremely high amount of slow. I got the support right pie, but I'm gonna replace it soon, and I got a touch. Touch is usually pretty good, which is why I decided to pick touch instead of E2ing Armia. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. So I can see I get the Horizon Invitation. I get the replenishment station because I really like this item. And here I'm able to E2 NARANTUYA, and I also get a simple thing. So yeah, this video is gonna be in 1.5 times speed because, well, it's 1 hour and 40 minutes long, so I assume it would be better for you. So, since this fight is basically the same as the one I showed you in the video yesterday, I'm gonna yap a bit about the conditions to get to the fourth ending. Just before you fight the boss, you have to take a series of debuff that you can prevent if you either have a lot of currency or an item that is usually supposed to be for the second or the third ending. So for example, the first one is gonna be you either have 3 anti-interference index and you sacrifice it, or you get minus 15% attack and HP on all your operators, which is unbelievably detrimental. It's the worst debuff of the 3 in my opinion. Second one is you either have 50 original ingots or the Triskar Helm, or you get minus 4 squad size. This is the second worst one, and usually what I consider is the most impactful one is the last one, which is you sacrifice 20 hope or the Boundless Gift, and you or you get minus 12 max HP, which is usually not that much of an issue because you don't really care about max HP for the last fight unless you're in an HP based run. So as you can see here, we were able to E2 Armia, and we are on our way to get the most powerful migrate in existence. So here again, this is a stage that NARANTUYA can basically solo, particularly since I have touch. So yeah, usually I don't go for the Boundless Gift, because the Boundless Gift requires you to, well, first of all, sacrifice a Scouting node, which is probably the second best node in the game, behind Bosky Passage. So there's this, and also it makes all combats more difficult, because there will be more enemies. And it also sacrifices an entire floor, because, well, you have to take a specific path on the next floor once you get the Boundless Gift. Because you have to take a specific prophecy. So it's usually not very good, and I usually prefer sacrificing 20 hope, which is usually not that bad. So as you can see here, we pick Jessica Alter once again, because, well, if you've seen my video, you should know that I consider Jessica Alter to be extremely powerful. And there you go, that's the synergy with Migrate that I was talking about. So here we're gonna have 3 entire Bosky Passage that are gonna increase our anti-interference to max. So I decided to take this Combat Ops simply because, well, it was right before one of the Bosky Passages, so might as well take it, since our anti-interference index is gonna increase to max anyway, so... There's nothing much to say here, because, well, this fight with NARANTUYA is, well, a joke. As you can see, we can quickly finish it. The second Bosky Passage is gonna net us the Lost and Found and the Encounter, so this is usually a really good Bosky Passage if you want to go for the 4th ending or for the 2nd ending. That also works. So this is the first one. We don't have a lot of Origium Ingots, so I decide to go for the top path. Also, I'm gonna put the video at 1x speed when we fight the boss on the 6th floor. And again, we are also gonna get the improved Sammy's Will, once again. But this time it's gonna go much better, because, well, we are not gonna get wrecked by the Sniper Voucher RNG like yesterday. Excuse me. Yeah, just like Clay, I'm also sick for some reason. So yeah, if I have to sum up what you need for the 4th ending, usually it's 3 anti-interference index, which is not that bad because, well, there's a shop just before, so you can buy anti-interference index if all goes to worst. 20 hope, which again is not that difficult, you just need to be a bit more conservative sometimes. And you also need the Triskel Helm, which again is not really complicated, you only need to go to a Lost and Found, and then sacrifice the next node that you want. So, as I said, this is the Lost and Found I was talking about, and then we sacrifice the next node, didn't matter if it was the Encounter or the Lost and Found. And there we go, we now have the Triskel Helm. So here, since this is an emergency, I'm gonna have to deploy 2 units instead of 1. Wow. Again, this is very easy with NARANTUYA because her S1 will hit the characters that summon Phantom when they are hit, then bounce back to the Phantom and back to the enemy again, so NARANTUYA is actually pretty great for enemies that summon things, or when there are exactly 2 enemies with her S1. because she will deal extremely high damage to these two enemies, as you can see. She can basically, well, 2-shot, but that's technically 1-shot. 2-shot them. So the strategy for the 4th boss is, well, you need a lot of things for the 4th boss. You need units that are able to tank. So like defenders with really high defense, or units that increase your stats, like for example Nightingale or Shining. You need a lot of damage, particularly damage that can ignore defense or resistance, if possible. You also need some lane holders, because there's quite a lot of enemies during these during this fight. Here I decide to go for Warrior, because I already have like Sing. I decide to E2 the touch, I think. Or maybe I went for the Calcit. Yeah, I went for the Calcit, because I didn't have much lane holding. I had Beagle, Cardigan, which is and Jessica Alta, which all in all wasn't that high. So again, we deploy NARANTUYA, we use S1, and the machine is no more. Here, thanks to touch, it may have been a good S2 or S3 showcase, but I still went for S1 because, well, it's reliable. Again, touch is an extremely good medic in IS, because each time she heals, she also recovers SP, so that's extremely powerful. Particularly for units that don't have a lot of SP cost, so you can like spam their skills. So here we go for a surprise, because having one surprise is always good, right? You can choose to spend your Origium Ingot whenever you want. I also got Red Woman, because, well, we had only physical damage. And for the 4th boss, it's best to have, like, split damage, if possible. Here we get the Foul Beast. So it's an extremely good relic. It works with a lot of extremely powerful units. Most notably, it works with Ray, which I'm gonna pick right now, and the shield. The Finchel shield is unbelievably powerful against the 4th boss, because they both have range damage, so being able to survive 3 instances of red damage is so strong, particularly if you get initial SP, and I'm gonna get initial SP. Here I went for the Frozen Host, because, well, the other two weren't that good, right? Having a free deployment whenever you have a summon. I mean, Calcit already does that with an alpha module, so might as well pick something that actually does something on top. So here again on this stage you can use S2. NARANTUYA is basically gonna solo this stage. Particularly with the station. So yeah, not much to say there. At this point in the game we have, like, we are so good, right? Like, we just got like 3 boss key passages thanks to migrates, so that means we have basically 1 floor to 1 floor and a half for free. So yeah, we are very good. And we still haven't fought like the boss on floor 3. Here I decided to go for love because, well, in general, it's good for battle. Here I picked a vanilla since we had like 0 hope. There I decided to go for the hope. There was an argument to pick the max health point because if you have at least 10 max health point, then you start stacking shields. But I felt like getting hope right now was more important than starting to stack shields. So again, this is a regular combat, so this is extremely free for NARANTUYA. Decided to go for S3 because with the extra range she would be able to hit the shamans. I mean the extra range. S1 reduces her range, so if you have S3 then you don't have any reduced range. So as you can see, she's basically soloing this stage. So a much better NARANTUYA showcase than yesterday, I would say. Even though yesterday wasn't that bad. It's just like unfortunate that I fumbled it so hard at the end. So here I used Feng to tank the shaman just a bit, so he wouldn't leave NARANTUYA's range. And there you go. Here I decided to E2 the red woman, obviously. It's the obvious choice. So, I'm not sure why I deployed NARANTUYA here. I should have deployed her one tile further on the right. I think I forgot that S1 reduced her range for a second. I brain farted, happens. But in the end it doesn't matter that much, like... I mean, at this point in the game we are so much ahead that even if I make 1 or 2 mistakes, it doesn't really matter that much. I use Feng in order to tank for a monster because I was a bit afraid that I didn't have enough defense. I probably did have the defense, but thanks to the alpha module, I think monster gets plus 50% defense. But, I mean, we can never be too, like, sure. And there you go, this stage was literally free. So here I decided to E2 the touch, because, well, we didn't need like the read or other units right now. So might as well save some hope and E2 touch, who's actually pretty strong at E2. I'm gonna get some more healers in the future. Here I lose 1 HP because, well, these enemies are coming at you at Mach 5 speed, and it's pretty difficult to actually deploy your units faster. I could have deployed Jessica on the bottom left, but I felt like I needed a good lane holder. And in retrospective, I should have simply deployed Jessica and redeployed her and replaced with Calcit and Monster. That should have worked, but I brain farted. Happens. Sometimes you lose 1 HP. It may not seem that much, but you actually increase the collapse value, which is actually pretty unfortunate. But it's alright. The stage in emergency can be a bit annoying because units are fast, they will start attacking your green boats, and if they kill the green boats, they will remove 1 HP, which is extremely bad. But here, again, we are so much ahead that anything I do really doesn't matter, like enemies are gonna die and that's it. We deploy Red Woman for safety, and that's it. So yeah, we lost 1 HP, but overall not that bad. We go for the recite, because, well, we're at 12 hope, and we're gonna need quite a lot of hope still. I think I went for a nest there, which is, well, obvious. You have 12 hope, you're offered a voucher, like a Vanguard voucher, you pick the Ines, should be pretty much a rule of thumb. Here I was wondering whether I would transform maybe the Bosky Passage or other nodes with love, because, well, we're gonna go down to one entire interference index, which can be pretty scary, but it doesn't really matter that much. We are gonna increase it real soon. So here's a pretty good tip for this stage. We have Ines on the left, and since she can become invisible, we simply have to, like, activate the skill at the right moment to not make the shaman stop in its tracks. Here the stage is basically gonna be a joke. We're even gonna deploy Ray just to kill these guys preemptively. And since she has Foul Beast, you can now see some extremely high red numbers, like 12k damage and so on. So you can see how the Frozen Husk makes Surtur a mini machine gun, which is extremely good. And it's gonna be very handy for the 4th boss. Here I decided to take the top red for Dattel because, well, we can always get more fighting for Dattel, so I was like, sure, if I get another Sing or another Silence, this kind of stuff, might as well. Here this emergency was pretty hard, I'd say, because, well, our deployment limit is reduced, and there's a big device in the middle of the map that deals damage. And I unfortunately lost 1 HP, not because I wasn't paying attention, simply because I wasn't seeing a pretty obvious solution. So this is supposed to be a NARANTUYA showcase, so obviously I'm going to deploy NARANTUYA. And since she's going to take damage here, even though she has like dodges and stuff, I decide to deploy Touch by removing Ines. And what I should have done when this big guy came to the top, I should have removed like Touch and deploy another damage dealer, like Ray, for example, and redeploy Touch afterwards, or even Amiya if I need some heal. That was a mistake from me. I should have been more reactive, but happens. I think it's, yeah, I think I lost an objective shield actually, so it didn't matter that much, but that was still a mistake from me. So yeah, we increased the entire interference that we used to take all these emergency. Here we skipped the specialist, because, well, specialist at 5 hope isn't really interesting. Here, all of these were pretty interesting, but I was like, we haven't fought the boss in the 3rd floor yet, so might as well pick the 4-leaf fossil, because that gives us more chance to get something interesting, which may have ended up mattering, actually. So the boss in New Charm can be pretty annoying, I would say, because the damage he deals are pretty high, and since these are like chain damage, quote unquote, they can quickly overwhelm you, particularly since they freeze. And well, if your healer not gets freeze but gets cold, then his attack speed is reduced, and therefore he heals less, and sometimes it can end up being extremely bad because, well, your healer may die. But again, I try to have my units as far as possible as this guy, and that's why I deployed also NARANTUYA facing left, because whenever the boss is gonna like take these stairs, NARANTUYA is gonna be able to attack him, and she's almost gonna be able to kill it with 1 skill, as you can see. And I'm simply gonna deploy Surtur to deal just 1 attack, and over. So yeah, overall pretty easy 3rd floor boss. Once again, we are so much ahead that there was absolutely no way we would lose a single HP there. So as a collectible, we got the Dreaming Essence, extremely strong collectible. Any good SP recovery collectible is good in any case, so yeah. Here I ended up taking water because I was like, we haven't used the lob yet. So if I go in the Bosky Passage and there's an encounter at the end, which I think happened, well, then I would use the water there. Here I was checking whether I needed a defender or a supporter, and I think I ended up completely skipping this and simply picking an Orchid, because, well, I didn't need a defender or supporter, nor did I have like a lot of synergies with them. So I was like, yeah, I don't really care. What I need right now are more snipers and more damage dealers, so maybe more guards, but certainly not more defenders or more supporters. If I had synergies, then maybe, but it wasn't the case. So we used the Horizon Invitation and got this fight. This fight, I would say NARANTUYA is actually perfect for this fight, because there are 2 spots, depending on where the wind is howling, where you can put her. And she can basically solo the stage. Like, again, she's extremely good against these enemies that summon Phantom, because the blade will rebound between, well, said enemies and the Phantoms, which is gonna happen there. I think, yeah, I think she literally solos the stage, I'm not sure. No, I think she does. So the main issue is that the guy, while the Phantom is activated, may dodge the attack, so you may end up not having enough damage to kill him. But I mean, I know it was supposed to be a NARANTUYA showcase, but in any case, there was a lot of space to deploy, for example, Rei, just in case something got banned. I was just like, okay, let's see if she can, well, solo the stage, and, well, she ended up being able to, so that's good. And there you go. So the Dimensional Fluid is the relic that allows you to go to the 4th ending. Here I ended up picking more HONSE damage because between stats and hope you usually want more stats. Like stats, you can get hope by doing a lot of things. You can get hope by buying a bunch of relics. You can get hope by leveling up. You can get hope by like doing certain events. But you can get stats by doing this usually. There's some events that give you stats, but that's it. I picked the Roberta just in case we were gonna need the shield. It's a preemptive measure. I don't think I ended up using her, but I mean, we had a lot of hope, so I was like, sure, why not? Here it's gonna be a pretty good S3 showcase. The main issue in this stage is that there are more stunning enemies, but I ended up deploying monster just to tank these enemies. I mean, these attacks. Their attacks. So as you can see, she's already dealing quite a lot of damage. Even though we don't have a lot of relics for her right now, right? We don't have a lot of, we don't have any like sniper relics, we don't have any physical damage relics, we don't have any range damage relics. And even so, she's still doing quite a lot of damage, I would say. We don't have any like dodge relics either. So I wouldn't say she's like Ray tier or even Typhon tier, but she's certainly a pretty interesting unit that can do a lot of things that a lot of units can't actually. Like she can tank, the range behind her can be surprisingly interesting. Her early game, I would say in particular, is better than Ray or Typhon. The main issue is her late game where, well, she falls off quite a lot, particularly if you don't have the relics for. Here, I'm not sure why I ended up picking Pinecone. This was a very weird decision for me. I was like, she only costs 1 hope. I have like 17 hope, and she's E2 already. Might as well spend it, but I might as well buy it. But I don't think she ended up doing much, except being a sniper. And as you'll see later, we will get the relic that increases the attack of snipers and medics for the more snipers and medics you have. Here, NARANTUYA will end up being very useful because, as you can see, these drones are very annoying, and I wanted to place NARANTUYA as much on the left as possible because, well, she would be able to hit enemies more times like this. And, well, with this position, she was also able to hit the drones, which was extremely good. In this map, in emergency, it's basically impossible to kill the big bolts that will wake up the robots, which often ends up us having to kill the robots, but it's not that bad. Here, if I had been able to use Jessica S3, then she would have been able to tank them, I think, but fortunately she died. But I mean, it's not really an issue. I simply killed them afterwards with Surtur, NARANTUYA, Monster. Oh, and Ray, of course. As you can see, Ray is already hitting for like 15k on some enemies, so yeah. And as you can see here, well, NARANTUYA is able to hit both of these drones, which is extremely good. And there you go, that's the end of the stage. So here we could have gone for the max health point, but like 2 max health point isn't gonna do much. If we want max health point, we're gonna need much more than +2. I ended up picking Reed because, well, it's fucking Reed. I mean, yeah, who are we kidding? Went for the Rogue Trader because we have a lot of original ingot. Decided to pick the Red Bow Tie, I think, because, well, it's more squad size, it's more hope. Also got the topographical map because on for the 4th ending you actually need quite a lot of defense because enemies hit hard, like very hard. We got the warning fence because, well, less collapse value is generally pretty good. It's not like the best thing possible, but it's pretty good nonetheless. Recruited a gun and E2'd the sharp simply because we could. And here is exactly why I kept the love. It's because usually this node is the useless restore all HP. So I could have gone for the +20 original ingot here, obviously, and I decided not to, just in case I fumbled my run and couldn't kill all 2 bosses. So I decided to go for the HP, just so in case I had to leak one of the 2 bosses, right? You can do that if you want to. Requires a specific setup, but I've done that a couple times and it worked. So here the main issue is that our NS isn't E2 yet, so she can't reveal invisible enemies. So only Jessica is able to reveal invisible enemies. But that's already pretty good. As you can see, she can solo one of these drones, which is, well, very good for now. And NARANTUYA is gonna deal with the rest. So there's only 1 drone left, so I'm not really that concerned. Main issue is, well, these enemies, they spawn only in emergency, these shamans. They go to your blue box pretty fast, but since I still had Ray and the Sand Beast, I was able to take them. But usually this is a very, very dangerous emergency. Even though there's not a lot of enemies, it's pretty hard to destroy them all. Thankfully, our current team is so broken that, well, it doesn't really matter that much. So we're already level 10, as you can see. So that's max level. We went for the +2 squad size. The defense could have been good, right? But like, I was like, might as well go up to max squad size right now. We're already max level, so we're not gonna get more squad size from leveling up. So we're gonna need to increase our squad size one way or another. Here I decided to go for the initial SP because, well, I'm gonna have to do like a tier list of relics in IS4 at some point. And spoiler alerts, but I think all initial SP items are gonna go in S tier. Even the simple one that only gives +6 SP because it's way too good. Like, you deploy your NS, you already have your skill. You deploy your Senator, you already have your skill. It's so good in so many cases. Nothing much to say here. Like, this stage was pretty easy. It's usually a pretty hard stage, but like all stages on floor 5. But again, we have literally everything. Like we have defense, we have heal, we have DP generation, we have damage, obviously, we have physical arts damage, we have melee damage, we have range damage, we have SP battery. Like we have literally everything. We have defense even. So yeah, not that concerned right now. So Reed is gonna die because I can't see. But I don't want to end up mattering that much. Here you can see NARANTUYA tanking the rockets, robots, and the missile machine without basically taking any damage. Because, well, the dodges plus the accuracy reduction, which also ends up being useful for your allies, right? If you reduce the accuracy of enemies, then your allies take less damage. And we obliterated the Dark Ray. So yeah, this point in the game, obviously Ray is going to be more useful. Here, we didn't have any caster, and we had a caster voucher, so obviously we could have gone for a caster and Malediction, right? It's extremely powerful. Like, Malediction is one of the best relics in the game for casters. Even so, we didn't end up taking it, I think. Yeah, we went for the other one, simply because, again, we need 20 hope. So I was like, okay, I need to start saving that hope. And, I mean, we already have, like, more than enough damage right now, and we don't need another caster. Like, for the fourth ending, you don't want too many range damage, right? Because, well, you don't have a lot of range, usable range ties. You need some range ties to be used by healers, some of your damage dealers, so like you have 3 or 4 maybe that you can use at the same time, right? So I don't think like casters was the right decision there, so I ended up like skipping and picking a Durin. And as you can see, we're gonna get upgraded some as well once again, but this time my plan is much better. Also, my units are much better. And even my relics are gonna end up being much better. Nothing much to say here. I should have deployed NARANTUYA earlier, but I ended up deploying her on the right just to show you how she can tank these 2 shamans. And well, as you can see, she can actually tank them quite well on top of killing them. So yeah, when I said like yesterday that she was like quote-unquote a phalanx sniper, I wasn't lying. She is like a very, very tanky unit, surprisingly. Like, probably one of the tankiest range units if we exclude, like, actual phalanx casters. So, in the late game, she is more, like, relegated to a defensive position, while in the early game, well, she can be both damaging and defensive. In the late game, well, as you can see, I'm using Ray for damage, I'm not using her, right? And I'm also gonna end up using Typhon as well, whenever I recruit her. But still, having a unit that quote-unquote pivots between roles during the run, I think it is pretty interesting. Usually this is a horrible emergency. Like, if you don't have a lot of ways to reveal invisible, then this can quickly become one of the worst emergencies in the whole game. Maybe beside the one that has Murder Colossi. But here we have Ines, we have Jessica Alter, we can tank with like Monster, we can tank with the shield from Jessica Alter, we can quote-unquote tank with NARANTUYA, again with the dodge and particularly with the accuracy reduction. So yeah, I was like, it shouldn't be that much of an issue, and it ended up not being an issue at all. even though we even had like deployment limit reduction, but I mean, we didn't care that much. So as you can see, we deployed the shield from Jessica there. And for this guy, we reveal him and quickly dispatch him with a Ray. Remove the shield so we have it again at a later time. And there you go. We use the shield again. We use Ray and the Sand Beast. And that's it for the stage. So we decided to go for the hope because, well, it's way too late for the treasure chest increased. And here I was hesitating between Eyjafjalla and Nightingale, and I was like, I've used a lot of Eyjafjalla for the 4th ending, and in my opinion, she can work with S3, but I haven't mastered her S3, I think. And I was like, I'd much rather have Nightingale, like more aggro taking from the things Nightingale can summon, more resistance to tank the guy from the right. I was like, sure, I'm gonna give it a try, and I didn't end up regretting it at all. Nightingale carried me on this run like so hard against the 4th boss, it was unbelievable. Not only because of the resistance, but also because there's a funny reaction between NARANTUYA and the things Nightingale summon. Like, what do you get if you mix NARANTUYA's accuracy reduction with Nightingale summon? Well, you get a boss that tries to hit Nightingale summon and misses, which is extremely funny, and you're gonna see against the 4th boss. So this stage was once again pretty free. I let the monster eat, monster, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I let him eat Surtur the first time. Doesn't matter that much. Like, usually I think it increases his defense, right? But again, as you can see, Ray is dealing like 11k, 12k damage per hit, so who cares? Like, at this point, who cares really? I tried to prevent this guy from destroying the block, but wasn't able to. Again, doesn't matter that much. Just look at Ray's damage, and you'll see why. And there you go. So here we obviously went for Remote Strike. Like, the one on the right that gives hope and Original Ingot is good, right? But like, Remote Strike was by far the best relic we could have gotten, and we got it now. And we got an E2 Typhon, so this was like probably the best outcome we could have gotten. Here I decided to use a Sing because, again, I am very scared of this fight in general. Of increased Sam as well. And here, since we had 4 anti-interference index, I was like, okay, I can spend 1 more just to do this fight, you know, and get like 1 voucher that may or may not matter, it depends. Also, this is a pretty easy regular fight with Ines. You deploy her on the top left, facing right, as I'm doing here. And now all the rays are aligned. And you get normal SP regeneration, so it's very good. You try to kill the magicians on the left with a unit with long range, like here, for example, Typhon. And that's pretty easy. As you can see, we have the Sing resonance here, so yeah, the stage is basically a joke at this point. In emergency, the stage without the Sing or something like this is an absolute nightmare. Like, I have lost so many times on this stage. In emergency, I mean. It's unbelievable. And there you go. So here the Minoan ode was way too late, so we decided to go for the mask. Went for another sniper and was like, okay, I may end up getting something interesting. Like, channels may have mattered, but again, we have way too much snipers. We won't be able to deploy them all, so might as well simply pick a cruise and save the hope. And here we are again against Enhanced Samus Wheel. This time it won't be that difficult. We have a solid plan in mind. We kill the guy on the right that otherwise would have killed Ines. We do this with Surtur. And from this point on, it's already much easier because, well, Ines won't be bothered. She's gonna start printing DP. Here I was like, maybe Feng can tank one hit from the guy on the right. Turns out she can't. But it doesn't matter that much. Here I'm desperately trying to kill these things, but I get cock-blocked each time, so I was like at some point, okay, I need to destroy them, what am I gonna do? Read altar. I'm deploying Typhon there, and it still won't do much. Gonna kill some of these things, but that's it. So yeah, at some point I was simply like, okay, we need to deploy Read Altar at some point, just to destroy all these glacial things. So that's what I'm doing right now. As you can see, Monster doesn't have any defense and is tanking quite a lot of hits, but it's okay. He can do that. So now we are simply preparing to burst the boss, which could have been much better if I didn't forget to deploy the Sand Beast. We removed the Typhon, who should have been removed like a long time ago already. And there we burst the boss. And as you can see, we forgot the Sand Beast, which, well, probably mattered a lot. But it's okay, on Ray's next activation, we're gonna use it, and the boss is gonna melt. And there you go. We deploy Typhon just to have like a lane holder on the left, in case I forget to use Ines' skill. Here Sharp can tank these guys on the right quite well, particularly with Nightingale. So the rest of the stage is pretty easy, I would say. Nothing much is happening. Nightingale is tanking these freezing drones on the right. At the same time, Sharp destroys most enemies. On the left, Typhon is gonna be the lane holder with the NES. There were quite a lot of units I should have redeployed, like Reed is literally serving no purpose there. But I was like, sure, I mean, the stage is over, like, there's no need for me to do anything. Again, this is the power of Sing. I know some people may have disagreed with my Fordatal tier list, when I said Sing was like the only S tier Fordatal with Migrate being way better than Sing in most cases. But, I mean, just look at this. And there you go. So, here we decided to go for the Swiss Wrath, I think, because the Scarlet Ember served no purpose, even though we got a Migrate, which is very funny. I could have gone for the Migrate and the Swiss Ember, but I didn't know if... No, I didn't have a top blue Fordatal. I ended up having the choice to get one in the shop, I think, but this was very risky, so I ended up going for the Swiss Wrath, which, well, dealt with some enemies in the during the boss, but that's it. Here again we need the hope. We need 2 more hope actually, so we skip and simply pick a Melenta, and we hope we get, well, 2 more hope during on the Rogue Trader. We already used the Sing because, well, might as well make the other stage easier. We also do this in order to get more life points, just in case something gets banned. And on the Rogue Trader, we get the secret HR letter, which is +2 hope, and now we are at exactly 20 hope. So we get this because it's more defense, also more deployment limit. There's nothing much else to pick here, like the shield from during an overground, sure. Enough time, like we could simply like skip the next fight, because again, if you click on retreat to like surrender the fight, it won't lower your HP to 1, you will keep all your HP. So I could have done that, but I was like, might as well invest, and that's it. So here's the prophecy. So as you can see, we sacrifice the entire interference index, we sacrifice the Triska Helm, we sacrifice the hope, and there you go, no debuff. So here this fight with Sing is gonna be a joke, even though the very beginning wasn't that easy. So I didn't, I don't know the range of these red mages that much, so I didn't think when deploying Ines here she would get attacked by all 3 mages. If Ines died there, it may have been like bad, very bad, but she didn't, so it's okay. There we go. We deploy the Jessica just to tank some enemies. We're gonna deploy the Nightingale to heal her. And there you go, we are in a very good position. Typhon is gonna destroy the boss. So as you can see here, the frozen monstrosity was a joke. I'm gonna finish it by simply tanking with Monster and attacking with NARANTUYA, and then afterwards with Ray. I could have simply deployed Ray, but again, this is a NARANTUYA showcase, initially. It's a shame that Narantuya's S3 doesn't hit in AoE. It only hits in AoE when the boomerang comes back to her. So all in all, maybe S2 should have been the best case here. The best skill choice. So as you can see, Typhon is defending the bottom lane very well, while Monster is defending the top lane. And there you go, stage over. Here we needed more damage, so might as well pick Spinach. Like, the minus HP was pretty good too, but minus HP can be quite detrimental on the fourth boss because you need to, like, make sure on when you kill the boss, because you want to kill the bosses pretty much at the same time. If you don't kill them at the same time, the other one enrages, and it becomes extremely bad. So here I'm gonna do the last fight in times one speed. I picked Roberta just in case, but I ended up not using her at all. I was wondering whether I should use Reed S1 or Reed S2, but I ended up picking Reed S3. Reed S2 or S3, I ended up picking Reed S3. Because I was like, we need more damage to kill the waves of enemies. We have a lot of single target damage with Typhon S3, right, for example, or Searcher S3. But we don't have a lot of AoE damage. So here's the strategy. We deploy Feng, who ended up dying instantly, unfortunately. I didn't think she wouldn't be able to tank even one hit. Ines got us some SP. We treated Ines, we deployed Jessica, and we went a bit, like, a bit bolder with the placement. Placed her here just in case I wanted, like, some space to deploy the shield. Here we don't get hit by this. I'm not sure why I deployed the shield first. It was pretty dumb from me, because the shield got hits, so that's, yeah, pretty dumb. We use Ray to deal some damage. Usually on this fight you want to deal with the red guy first, reduce him to like very low HP, and then deal with the yellow guy because he's way easy. The yellow guy is way easier to deal with, usually. He treated the Ray. And we're gonna deploy Typhon to deal with the red guy. Because Typhon's S3 is just, like, ridiculous. So we leaked some enemies, but that doesn't matter. I mean, you have all of these HP. I was contemplating whether to kill one boss and let the other one leak, but would that be really a good showcase if I did so? I mean, probably, but I was like, if I can kill the boss like fair and square, might as well do it. So even if I leak some enemies, I can afford to leak them. Again, you have accumulated all these HPs for this fight specifically, so yeah. So here the idea is to blast the red boss while defending the other two lanes. Here Ness is gonna net us a lot of SP, DP I mean. So as you can see, the shield is tanking because of Narantuya, and now the Nightingale's thingy is also tanking, again still thanks to Narantuya. And now we're gonna destroy the red boss. So, yeah, you can see here raise damage. Not sure why I didn't use Typhon. Oh yeah, I didn't use Typhon right away simply because I was afraid I would deal too much damage, which again can be very detrimental for this boss. You don't want to deal too much damage, you want to deal the exact amount of damage you need. So here, in order to defend the right lane, that's what you can do with Jessica. You deploy the shield on the right, and then it blasts the thing that stuns and deals a huge AoE damage. Here, we're gonna retreat Typhon because, well, we have dealt enough damage to this guy. We need to be careful too because since they exchange blow through the run, the yellow guy might kill the red one. Also, particularly since we have the Swiss Wrath deals 3k damage every time I summon a unit. So I need to be extremely careful and start killing the yellow guy, which I'm gonna do soon. So here we deploy 2 units. So when he passes through with his Crown Slayer-like ability, the second one can still hit him. As you can see, even though he has like SS or something like this in resistance, since Surtur has some resistance penetration, then she's still able to deal some damage to this guy, right? So here we deploy Reed in order to heal Nightingale, and also kill this drone that will give us a huge boost of attack speed. So I was like, okay, so we now have the attack speed, we want to use it and we want to kill the boss. So we deploy Ray on the left lane, we deploy NARANTUYA on the right lane. Oh, I'm sorry, the opposite. We deploy Ray on the right lane and NARANTUYA on the left lane. And we kill them both. We used Jessica's Altar skill a bit too early, but that didn't end up mattering that much. And there you go. That's the 4th boss in IS4 in Brave in Nature 12. So if you have any question regarding this run, feel free to ask me. And thank you for watching this video and supporting this channel.